So you call yourself a sports fan. You call yourself a sports fan. Do you know what Chad Pennington, Giovanni Carmazzi of Hofstra, Chris Redmond of the University of Louisville, T. Martin of Tennessee, Mark Bulger from West Virginia, Spurgeon Wynn from Southwest Texas State. Do you know what all these football players have in common? These 6 football players and 192 other football players were selected before Tom Brady in the 2000 draft. 6 quarterbacks selected before him. 199. He was the 199th pick in the 2000 draft. On Michigan, he was the 7th quarterback on the depth chart. Which means the coach would go to 6 other players before they got to him. And yet, Tom Brady became arguably the best football player ever. I was wondering a couple of weeks ago why it is that Hashem created in His world something like a very, very strange creation. Something, normally we know creations begin, you have a small bear becomes a bigger bear. A small goat becomes a larger one. A small cow, baby calf, becomes a cow. And here it is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created a certain bria. He created creation. You have something like a caterpillar. A caterpillar is obviously a bug, a creature that crawls along the ground. And then it builds around itself a cocoon. And all of a sudden, the Rebbeinu Shalom created such a thing where you had a caterpillar, and lo and behold, it becomes a completely different organism. Why did Hashem create something like that in His world? Why did Hashem make something that starts off as a caterpillar and ends up as something completely different? So I'd like to suggest the following idea. Perhaps the fact that Hashem created something like that in His universe was to teach us a very, very basic and fundamental lesson about being a Jew, and in fact about being a human being. Just because you have lived your life for a very long time in one way, and you've gotten used to being a certain way, and you've gotten used to being looked at in a certain way, and valued by people in a certain way, and valued by God in a certain way. And just because you've davened in a certain way all your life, and just because you've learned in a certain way all your life, and just because you've had success in your general studies, you've been a 78 or an 82 or an 86 or a 92 or a 95 student, doesn't mean you're going to be like that for your entire life. It's possible to recreate yourself. It's possible to become someone who you never thought you could become. The caterpillar, the lowest creature that crawls on the ground and hugs the dirt of the earth, can become something that flies free, that can reach the highest heights, that's independent, that can go wherever it wants, whenever it wants. I can't tell you how many times I've seen boys in this high school who you think it's going one way, and you think it's headed in one direction. And maybe in elementary school it was one way. And maybe in 9th grade it was one way. Or in 10th grade it was heading a certain direction. And who knows what happens, but different things happen to people in their lives. And people use the opportunity and use the new beginning and use the new year that everyone has to become someone who they never dreamt that they could actually become. I can tell you in my own life that in the past couple of years, my own Torah study, in the past couple of years, there have been elements of it that I haven't been so happy with. Over the last couple of years. Used to be I had a very serious, permanent chavrusa, and then for a couple of years it wasn't what I would have liked it to be. And I always dreamed of having a situation where it would be something that would be much better for me. And I knew that like the early morning hours were the times that it could happen, but I was a late night person. There's no way I was going to be able to wake up early in the morning to do something like that. No way. And circumstances happened and one thing led to another, and thank God, HaKadosh Baruch Hu just dropped something in front of my life, and for the last year, Hashem should give me the strength to continue to do it. I was able to conceive of something new for myself and be someone who I never thought I could be. I wasn't always so happy with the way I used to make brachos. Wasn't so happy with it. I would see certain other rabbeim who somehow they really had tremendous intensity and focus when they would make a bracha. And the real appreciation, I would say, no, that's not me. There's no way I can ever do something like that. It's not me. Not who I am. Then I would think about it and learn some things about it and focus on it. And 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it worked for a long time. A person can become somebody different. That's what tshuva is all about. The Rambam says that we did things wrong. How's the Rebbeinu Shalom going to give us a good year? Based on what merit? Based on what? We were all the same way we always were. How in the world we're all going to be coming to Rosh Hashanah in a few weeks? How's the Rebbeinu Shalom going to overlook what happened in the past year? What's he going to overlook? How can he do that? Says the Rambam that what a person's supposed to do when he does tshuva is umishane shemo. A person changes his name. Kolomar eini oso ha'ish. I'm not the same person. Hashem, it's a new year. Hashem, I'm asking you for a life for a new year because I'm committing to the fact that I'm not going to be the same person this year that I was last year. I'm going to learn from my mistakes. I'm not going to be that kid who always is the kid who gets in trouble. I'm not going to be that kid who's always the kid who's late, who doesn't care about davening to the right amount. I'm not going to be that kid that seeks to call attention to himself in all the negative ways. I'm going to have self-esteem. I'm going to have a sense of self. I'm going to be able to accomplish and to achieve. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please give me another year of life. May it be the will of the Ribono Shel Olam, of the Master of the Universe, who comes and davens with us here each morning and hears us in our daven, that He hear our heartfelt prayers, that He hear our thoughts that are deep inside our minds, that He helps and gives strength to our yearnings, to our deepest feelings and our deepest desires to do the right thing, to grow in our davening, our learning, to have hatzlacha, to have success in our general studies. May it be a year of success, of health, of hatzlacha for us, lanu l'chol beis Yisrael, until that time, when there won't be any more DRS and chutz la'aretz, we'll be able to join this beis medrash and daven. There's a marsha that says like this, that when Mashiach comes, every beis medrash and chutz la'aretz is going to become attached to the Beis Hamikdash. We should be able to daven there together with HaKadosh Baruch Hu's help, the Meher of Yameinu Amen.